Now Larson sliced his way through that lap traffic without even losing a tenth to Keselowski, who has 3 seconds on Kyle Busch in third. Starter has the white flag in hand.
And if you're that leader, just get around there, hurry. That's all you can think about is getting over there to that line.
And here it comes. White flag, 1 lap to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank. Brad 3.2 back, and Kyle Busch, that is, 6.2 back. Hamlin and Blaney, the top 5. Going to shake up the points. Going to put Hamlin to the top, Keselowski, and then Larson, as Kyle Larson wins Las Vegas.
Hell yeah, guys. Great job.
2nd, 4th, and 5th at the moment. Trying to displace Petty Enterprises as NASCAR's all-time winning team. And this is Alex Bowman closing in on William Byron.
Yeah, he's had a front row seat to all this action's going on between the 9, the 18, and the 24.
That 18 washes up here. This could be another 1, 2, 3, 4 finish.
I was going to say, Alex is like, I want a piece of that action.
Can you hold your breath for 2 laps? I'll bet Kyle Larson can.
I think
he's been holding the last 10 laps. Just trying everything he could do to get back to this white flag.
White flag, 1 lap to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank. Kyle Larson trying for his first NASCAR win in a race longer than 400 miles. And he's going to pick NASCAR's longest night to do it.
And what a weird situation to get it done, right? With those 3 second places back in 2017, a pole, and then go ahead and win the race. Going to do it again right here, 2021.
Kyle Larson wins the Coca-Cola 600. Rick Hendrick. And here we go for NASCAR overtime. 2 laps, green-white checker. Leader takes the white flag under green. Next flag ends the race, and it's Credit One overtime.
Can't spin your tires here, Jeff.
And you can't lock up those brakes in turn 2.
Boy, Larson with a whole car length.
Sure did.
Whoa, Chase Elliott got a little loose. These guys are getting after it. Love it. Guys all over the curves, just trying to get a little bit more turn in the front.
Chase is putting the pressure on
I'll tell you
him.
what, right there, Larson got wide.
Heavy braking zone ahead.
Well, we've not seen anybody be able to outbrake Larson today, but I tell you what, right there, Chase Elliott did a great job closing the gap.
Get him in the mirror. That's what he's done. Put the pressure on him in the mirror, looking back there, not paying attention. You can wheel hop very easy.
This is that section where you start to get those tires cleaned up.
Yep.
Through turn 9 down to 10, fastest part of the course.
And the important part, we haven't said it, I know we've said it a lot, but that's a prime example. He needed to get some distance on him because you know the next opportunity is this turn 11. And Chase really dove it in hard and slid up in the center.
Now what the 9 has to do, he's got to watch that 5 trying to be aggressive. As soon as he makes a mistake, that's when you got to pounce. And you got to close that gap. You got to make Kyle Larson not think about the next corner, the next shift, but think about Chase Elliott. Kyle Larson did a great job that opening lap. You could see he was pushing and slip and slide around, just trying not to overdrive it, and that allowed Chase Elliott to stay right there. Now he's starting to settle in. What can Chase Elliott do with that?
That's the hardest part. Don't let him force you into it. Continue to keep the poise. And it's so challenging to do when somebody's breathing down your neck. Don't make a mistake and beat yourself.
And you still got 2 major braking zones. Here's 1 into 7. Don't wheel hop, but you got one last one into 11. If Chase Elliott puts a little pressure down through these S's, will the 5 of Larson wheel hop into that braking zone in turn 11?
Remember 5 years ago, Denny Hamlin, Tony Stewart, just that same kind of battle. Down into 11 on the final corner of the race. But Chase has got to get closer to have a shot.
So strong in this fast part of the track right here. I just don't think he does.
Turn 11, the final braking zone. And Rick Hendrick's team's going to tie a record that stood since 1956. 1-2 finishes 4 races in a row as Kyle Larson wins at Sonoma.
And he's excited about it. See him go sideways.
Hey, Jeff, you talk about those 3 second-place finishes. I was talking to Cliff Daniels about that, and he said he was kind of moping around the shop after one of those second-place finishes. He was, and Kyle came up to him and said, "You okay?" He said, "Yeah, I just don't want to finish second. I didn't come here to finish second. I came to win races." That level of accountability, Kyle Larson maybe has never had it in his career. They expect to win on the 5 team. They're showing the speed they have in the race cars, and Kyle Larson, after being out for much of last year, is delivering behind the wheel. Another impressive run here.
When I asked Rick Hendrick, I said, you've changed your philosophy. None of your drivers used to race out of the Cup Series. They would always just focus on the Cup Series, run there all the time. I said, Rick, why have you changed that with Kyle Larson? He said he has such a passion for racing. He wants to go and learn and race and figure out a car and how it runs best. He said, I couldn't deny him that. And he said also Chase Elliott likes to do it as well. Chase Elliott also will go away and run a late model and like to learn that. He said this kid really loves. And what did you see?
Maybe Kurt Busch is possibly running out of gas. The 11 car is on pit road. Denny Hamlin.
Kurt Busch having such a good day. Can he make it another just couple laps?
Coming up now, 1 lap to go. Presented by Credit One Bank for Kyle Larson. 263 laps led already. This has got to be the most dominant performance we've seen out of Kyle Larson. Fuel was an issue. Overheating was an issue. He fixed the overheating problem. He has managed the fuel problem, and he's going to make it 3 wins in a row. Kyle Larson returns to Nashville Superspeedway a winner. He was able to get by. He's trying to get by Alfredo now. He does clear Alfredo as they go into 1, but he still has that 52 in front of him of Josh Bilicki. And there you see the 38 sliding out really wide. Larson still, this one isn't over, under 3 to go.
That was a hold your breath moment for Kyle Larson right there when Anthony Alfredo got crossed up, went out of 1. Everybody getting refocused now. Here's Larson closing back up on the back bumper of Alfredo and peeling out driver's right, trying to get him past before the interlude.
Yeah, that was just a difficult situation to be in for the leader, and Anthony should have let the leader go going down into turn 1, but just didn't allow it. 5 car gets through cleanly and around the 52 here in the carousel. The 9 car, though, is closed in, guys, within 3.5 seconds. And all that fight cost Kyle Larson a 2.5 or 1 lap.
Just a line. 2 to go.
But now Chase Elliott's got to deal with the same thing. Chase Elliott's got to hope they get out of his way, but it doesn't look like they are side by side into turn 6.
Chase Elliott has to find his way through it. Costs Kyle Larson a lot of time, but it's going to cost Chase Elliott the same amount of time. Coming to 2 to go. Larson, I think.
38. 2 release smooth lap here.
I love all the information on the radio. At this point, I think it's a mistake is what you're trying to avoid. Make Chase Elliott find his way through this traffic.
That's exactly what he's doing right now. He really has to tiptoe through this minefield of lap traffic. Elliott's got 1 behind him, but he's got 3 more to go, plus about 2.5 seconds of real estate. Time is running out, less than 2 laps to go, and Chase Elliott is doing all he can. Now looking to the outside of Daniel Suarez, now 3 wide to the inside for the inner loop.
He has a huge run on these guys down into the inner loop, the bus stop. He's going to outbrake them into this corner and hop that curb. You see the distance to the 5-car of Kyle Larson is a very comfortable lead as Chase Elliott goes into the carousel now. Guys are heading toward Jeff Burton and the white flag.
And Chase Elliott just did all he could through all that. Did a nice job of getting through that traffic, but Kyle Larson was just too big of a gap. There he is right there. Kyle Larson just got to be smart on this last lap. Make no mistakes. Clean racetrack in front of him.
Kyle Larson started this race in 4th, has now been out front for 25 laps as it's 1 lap to go. Presented by Credit One Bank. The gap between 1st and 2nd, 2.35 seconds. Larson ahead of Elliott on the final lap here at the Glen.
All Kyle Larson has to do is bring it home in one piece. Keep it on the racetrack, and he's got this one buttoned up. Here he comes for the right-hander. Turn 2, that's the bottom of the S's. He'll crest the hill in turn 3, ease his way over to the turn 4 area, and here comes Young Money, looking for the big money for the final time out of 4 and headed up the back straightaway.
Kyle Larson cruises down the back straightaway, lifting and braking early, smoothly into the bus stop. No mistakes here. Cruise just rolling through here without any real pressure. It's going to be an easy cruise to a victory as he goes around the carousel. Great pace in this 5-car all day long. He's headed to you, Burton.
Kyle Larson's won everything he's sat in this year. Dirt cars, all types of dirt cars, road courses. Never won at Watkins Glen. A couple corners away from his first career win at this racetrack.
Number 5 important for Kyle Larson and Hendrick Motorsports, and it's going to be win number 5 on the 2021 season for the driver of the 5. Kyle Larson comes out of 7 for the final time, and Larson is going to win at the Glen.
Oh yeah, guys, good job today.
Harvick's going to have the momentum off the top of the racetrack.
Harvick still has the lead. Now 5 laps to go, but he also knows Chase Elliott not happy the way he was raced earlier.
Harvick
Here comes Larson again.
Harvick got the marbles just a little bit off of 2 there.
Priest is almost clear of Almirola. There's so much to watch. I don't know which screen to look at.
Well, Reddick is right to the rear bumper of the 22. I thought he made contact.
The 5's going to have a big run right here down the back straightaway.
He looks to the inside for the lead. Larson tries to do the slide job. Not enough room.
He does it.
Harvick crosses over. Now puts the bumper to the back of the 5. Under 3 laps to go. William Byron coming into the picture. Larson up to the high side. Harvick only 2 more laps to try to get back by Larson. And he's closed the gap. A big run by Larson. Dives into turn 3. Harvick follows him in. Out of 4, Larson with a 2-car length lead. 1 lap to go. Harvick charging hard. Larson, now Elliott on the inside of Harvick. Watch for that. Larson clears him. Out of 4, Larson's going to win at Bristol. A couple races ago, he said, I don't expect... Byron into the grass.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Still green.
Still contact. Just, you know, the only way he was going to advance was to get to Tyler Reddick, try to get by him, and just pushed a little bit too hard.
Tires are clear. It'll make laps.
You heard the information. Tires are clear. It'll make laps. Yeah, you... Listen, if you're ever going to be okay with a mistake like that, it's when everything's on the line. He had to find the edge and hope it would stick, and apparently he went over the edge.
That allows Chris Buescher into 3rd place. An incredible run for Chris Buescher here late in the season. His best of the year.
Yeah, William Byron was shooting a half-court shot with 1 second left on the clock. Just can't blame you for trying.
Speaking of 1 second, 1 lap to go now. The final lap from the Roval for Kyle Larson. I mentioned we talked to him earlier, and he said, I'm not expecting to win this championship. I know I have to go out there and fight and get it. There's where the 24 of Byron got off track and into the wall in the infield. Well, Kyle Larson is going after it here in the round of 12. Coming in, Kyle Larson had 60 playoff points. Those are the only things that will advance into the next round with you. 60 points is the maximum number of points you can earn in one race. So he has almost a 1 race advantage going into the next round.
He's going to have more now. Very impressive, Kyle Larson. I think what's most impressive for me, Rick, is the style of tracks. I would never have pegged Kyle Larson a road course racer, but this will be the second one of the year that he's proven that he can best some of the best road course racers we have seen.
And getting some of their momentum back. Bad strategy at Vegas. Got in a wreck at Talladega. Before that, they weren't running great. Getting some of that back for this next round of playoffs.
And what a season it has been for Kyle Larson. He is going to become the first driver ever in the Cup Series to win 3 road course races in the same season. Kyle Larson, through the chicane for the final time, he will win at the Charlotte Roval.
Today, guys, I did not...
At Phoenix for the championship 4. Back on the gas they go. 2 laps here from Texas.
Well, William Byron's got to stay on that right rear quarter panel, but he doesn't. He gets away from Kyle Larson. That frees Kyle Larson up. Now Byron back to him, just can't get there. Just moved away from him too quickly.
But Brad Keselowski, I think, is going to clear William Byron down the backstretch. He pulls away from him, doesn't allow him to be side drafts.
White flag.
They're side by side for second. William Byron surging ahead now through 3 and 4. But here comes Keselowski. Hard charging as they come off of 4. 1 lap to go, presented by Credit One Bank. 1.5 miles from his 8th win of the season is Kyle Larson. A win at this racetrack locks him in to the championship 4 in Phoenix. Gives his team 2 weeks to work on that car. Kyle Larson, a dominant performance. He leads 256 laps, and he'll win at Texas.
Phoenix, run for a title. Good job.
In front of the 5, the 9 dealing with it as well.
You know that the crew chief's stomach is in knots right now watching this 9 car make these final few turns.
Well, you've talked me into my nerves now. I was feeling pretty good about it.
I just know how, you know, when you're running the fence, you're just inches away from the wall, and a little bit of change in air and so forth. When you're catching a guy who's leading the race, you know, you're going to lose a high percentage of downforce and grip.
I don't know what accolades we could perhaps give Kyle Larson. I mean, this race meant nothing to what he's trying to do to win a championship, yet here he is, a lap and a half away.
I'll put him in pretty good company here in perspective. The last driver, this is going to be, by the way, 3 in a row if he's able to finish this off, as we have 1 lap to go, presented by Credit One Bank. If he's able to finish this off, the last driver to win 3 straight races twice in a season was Dale Sr. back in 1987. Pretty good company to join there.
That's the best company. How you get better than that?
What a season Kyle Larson has put together, and what a round. This round of 8 of the best drivers in NASCAR, he has put it on him. He wins again. Larson wins at Kansas. Cliff Daniels told him to be smooth. Into 3. The gap still 0.6 of a second. 1 lap to go. Presented by Credit One Bank.
Wow, Truex made up a lot of time again in turns 3 and 4.
A huge amount of time.
He's closed the gap. The 5. Now sees the 19. He's getting closer in the mirror. Down the backstretch for the final time.
There's going to be a lap car on the inside. Not going to allow Truex to run that low line that he wants to run.
Kyle Larson a year ago watched the race from North Carolina. Today, he's a Cup Series champion.